Mindset separates those who will do stuff in their life and be proactive versus the ones who are not. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie and welcome to Healing with Allie, where in this channel we're all about self-development, improving ourselves, becoming, the best version of ourselves, having a community where we can all heal together. I want this channel to be evidence for anyone out there who needs help or just needs proof that, we can all change, we can all heal from our past traumas, and that we are not a product of our past, our environment, or all of the things that we were told we should be. I want everyone to truly live their best life, become the person that makes you happy, and honestly just live this life and see all of the different challenges that I go through a healing and balanced perspective. Now, before we get into the video, I do want to address the elephant in the room. Something looks different. Yeah, so I end up, getting a complete change. How do you like it? It was time for a change. It was time to do something different. And I don't know if this is anyone else out there, but I can definitely speak for myself when I say, I feel like when you get new hair, a different style, or just anything that is completely a different look for you, you ended up having to get a different personality. So I definitely am embracing the new look. I'm definitely liking it. I haven't had braids in so long, and it feels good to not have to be bothered with my hair. It feels good to not have to try to figure out, which hair am I going to wear if I'm wearing a wig. And with all of the crazy and hectic things that I have going on in my life, honestly, it was time to give her a break. So I had this done because it was my birthday last week. So your girl is 25. I'm sorry, I'm just playing. Actually, your girl 28, but I'm 25 years old forever. So yes, I felt like it was time to do something for myself as a little, birthday gift. So it was definitely, a long time coming. I definitely felt like I wanted to do this, but I just kept putting it off. But how you like it? Let me know down in the comments, how you feel about it and everything else. So back to the video. I want this video to be 10 lessons that I learned by the time I turned 28. So we go through things in life, and there are certain development stages that we go through where we learn certain things. So I definitely want to share my wisdom. I definitely want to go ahead and give some things that may help somebody watching this video today about the life lessons that, it takes to learn through experiences, through living life, through going through some things, because that's what makes us, better, wiser people. So yes, your girl turned 28 last weekend, and my birthday is October 14th, Libra gang. So if you know, you know. I definitely can say I had a good time. I definitely can say that even though I'm 28, I definitely have a lot more wisdom. I do truly believe that, birthdays, while also being a great time for celebration, you made it another year on this earth alive. It's also a good time to reflect on things that has happened in the past year for yourself, or just different things that you feel like you want to take on for your next chapter of your life. I like to think of ages as chapters. So this is chapter 28. There's going to be some new things that we have going on. It's going to be all about learning, all about reflecting, all about showing up. I have a video on that. I'll put it somewhere up here, all about the art of showing up and what showing up means for me. And I feel like I've been doing really well, with some of the things and some of the goals that I set for myself. So I definitely feel like, anytime we turn any age, use that time to reflect on things that you feel like you liked about yourself, you didn't like. And this is also a good turning point to use if you really want to improve on yourself. I also want to lay it out there and share a little vulnerable moment that for someone my age, I definitely been through a lot earlier in my adolescent youthly years. So there's a lot that I could share with you guys. Do me a favor and subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this with a friend, and go on over to Instagram, give me a follow, and just enjoy everything that I have going on over there. Follow me on Instagram where I can get to know you guys a little bit better. You guys can get to know me a little bit better. So yeah, let's get started with the video. So lesson one that I learned by the time I turned age 28 is that it's okay to be yourself. As cliche as this sounds, a lot of us growing up, we, through society, through movies, through our, just growing up, we go in with life being who we are, not having to care about anybody else around us, having our own little bubble of who we are, what we like, and what we want to be. And we generally come into this earth or into this life with the mindset and with the perspective that I can do anything I want and I can be anything. Then as you get to grow up and you get to be around different peers and just different environments, adulthood has a way of kind of like trimming away from who you really are due to like wanting to fit in, peer pressure, bullying, or just the overall feeling that you get when you know that you are not like other people. And it happens for everyone, whether we all want to admit it or not. But we were taught at a young age as we grow up to not really be our authentic self. And so for me, I don't know when it really started, but I can definitely say that I caught on early that some things was meant to kind of fake, or not really fake, but some things were better pretending to be. So I would create different facades. I would, get peer pressure into behaving certain ways just so you can fit in. What a lot of us aren't aware of is that the feeling of wanting to fit in is literally our survival mechanism. With that being said, back in the caveman days, if you did not become part of a group, you were literally left alone, and your chances of survival was really not that great. So, fast forward now, we still have this type of human survival tactic where we want to fit in. So sometimes when you can tell that certain behaviors, certain hobbies that you like, or just certain things that make you are not accepted to certain people, that whether that's friends that you want to make, whether that's teachers, bosses, or just somebody that you overall look up to, you can fall into that trap of not being who you truly are just so you can fit in. So I learned that, I want to say, around like my early to mid 20s, that at the end of the day, we are all more common than what we like to lead on. Social media has definitely shown us this, that we are actually as a whole more alike. But at the end of the day, your individuality is what makes everybody beautiful and what makes every person on this earth unique. So it's hard every day, but I really want to say that once I started embracing who I truly am and finding what I like. So, it starts off by, you having to figure out who you are and what you like, because you can fall into a situation like I did where you have been so fake for so long that you completely lost who you are. You completely don't even know your likes anymore. You feel like all of your beliefs, all of your values are not truly what you believe, but more so has been placed by other people. And we don't need to do that to ourselves, because honestly that leads to a miserable life, that leads to just being miserable and really not fulfilling your purpose. So this first lesson is definitely important to me because I'm living it every day. I'm embracing things that is not really supposed to be accepted through stereotypical beliefs, or just through things that we as a society has placed on women, and just placed on Black women especially. So that was the number one thing that I learned by the time I turned age 28, is that it's okay to be yourself. So my second lesson is that everybody isn't your friend. And this is a big one, because I learned this one, I want to say, by the time I got middle school, high school, pretty much you still learn this every day. Everybody is not your friend. Everybody does not come around you for good intentions. Everybody does not want to uplift you, to support you, to see you win. There are some people that truly are jealous of you. There are some people who are envious of the things that you have, and they don't really even have to know you. They don't even really have to have like a clear vision and picture of your life story. Some people just will have a few seconds of analyzing you and already have came up with some type of preconceived opinion about you. And whether they admit it to themselves or not, some people cannot handle how they feel about you. So they'll either do one or two things. They'll either, become a bully, somebody who wants to nitpick you, be a hater, always finding something negative, or they'll do something that I feel like is actually more toxic, which is they'll pretend to be your friend. They'll actually want to become your friend because they want to, regardless, steal your shine, take away from you, because energy vampires are definitely real, you guys. So they'll either want to do that, or they just generally want to keep you at a certain level. So in their mind, by being your friend and constantly throwing different things at you, you are who you hang around. And if they don't think highly of themselves, and if they don't want to see good for themselves or have good things for themselves that make them feel like, the most healed, valuable person to themselves, there's no way they're going to give you that. There's no way they're going to support you with that. So it's like, you got to be mindful of the type of people that you're around, because everybody around here are like snakes sometimes. You've heard of that saying, wolves in sheep's clothing. Like, there's real people out here that will smile in your face, wave, have great conversations. They will even go so far as to help you out and be nice in front of other people and do favors and pretend like, oh, I want to help you out because I want to hang out, and even invite you places. All the while they talk shit about you, they're gossiping. They only hang out with you because they want information. That way they can go around and either spread lies, tell everybody else, if you trusted them enough to tell them personal information, or all in all, it's just because they have nothing left going on. I really struggled with this one a lot, especially in my high school days, because I didn't realize it then, but that's when the height of my codependency happened. And I noticed that, any friendship that I deemed valuable to myself, I still kind of have it. So I have this mentality that once I deem you a friend or somebody that I want in my life, I'm willing to give you anything. I'm willing to go 100% hard on this friendship, on this relationship, whatever it is. I truly like helping people, and I truly like being there. And there will be times where I would even sacrifice my own happiness, sacrifice things that I wanted to do, or just sacrifice me and my happiness as a whole just to please others. So doing this would kind of make it worse for me, because once I didn't get that same reciprocation back, once the person that I would either go hard for and do something for didn't give me that same energy, it's like I was so devastated and so like heartbroken, and took it so personal that how dare you not give me that same energy. Like, I'm sitting here, I would take a bullet for you as a friend. I would do everything. What's mine is yours. You don't have to worry about when I'm around, I'm trying to take advantage of you. You don't have to worry about that. And a lot of times, they knew that and they wanted that, but would they give that to me? Now that's a whole other story. But I learned that early on, especially with close friends, that I felt like, we'll be in this friendship forever. We're going to be like the Golden Girls, where we just grow up old, or be like how Girlfriends was, that series where, you all have your own thing, you're all successful, but you're still really close and tight knit. And me wanting this and still yearning for this has put me in situations that I honestly regret, because a lot of that stuff I could have avoided had I just been a little bit more self-aware of the signs that people were giving me to show me that they really weren't my friend. And it's funny how once I look back and I realize some of the mistakes and some of the responsibility that I placed on these friendships, I realized, they really wasn't even showing me that they were my friend in the first place. why did I go so hard in the beginning on certain people? To prove what? To prove to myself that I'm a good person, to prove to everybody else, look, hey, well, look what I'm doing, I'm being a good person. Like, why did I really do that? So with that lesson, I learned that, you know, sometimes people just don't like you. People just don't want to see you do well. And with that being said, that's where discerning comes in. That's where, you know, you have to realize the red flags that people show you that they really aren't your friend. And so I have another video somewhere I can drop here that I recently did on how to spot a fake friend, because, you know, they're always not going to be so open about it. They're not going to be like, hey, I don't like you. Hey, I think you're this. Like, some of them truly have passive aggressive signs. So we got to watch out for these. We got to make sure that, you know, when we have friends or when we choose friendships, that we not only are making the best decision for both parties, because it's a give or take, but we're making sure this is a true, authentic person that truly wants the best for me and that just truly wants my company. And so now that I've like grown up and, you know, had a lot of other things going on that takes a lot of my priorities, like going to therapy and realizing that I have codependency, I've definitely am becoming better when it comes to just, you know, being my own friend and being the person that I want people to do for me. Just give that to myself, because how can I expect somebody to do something for me if I'm not even giving that to myself? And once I start giving this to myself, and once I start being consistent at being my own best friend, after a while, you know, I'm still hoping for it, that, you know, these friends that I want come around, these people that are like on the same level as me will come around, and we all just basically are authentic with each other and don't want nothing. We don't want anything bad or negative to go on, or we don't have no preconceived notions. We don't have any ulterior motives or anything in the relationship. So moving on with that, number three is definitely something that my therapist gave me a lot of awareness on, which is it's okay to change. You know, this one to me is a big deal, because, you know, we're always, you know, used to having that, hey girl, you remember back in the day we did this, and reminiscing and having that nostalgia. But then there's a dark side to it where, you know, you realize in like 5 years that went by, you're still doing the same thing, still at the same job, still complaining about the same stuff. You know, that gets real old. And I remember talking to my therapist, and I said this before, but I remember telling her, like, you know, I wish I could just like start over, go somewhere and just be like, F it, let me just pack my bags, let me travel to some remote island or some new country and just start over. And I said it as a joke, but honestly, she was like, Alex, it's okay to change. Like, people change every day. That is a part of nature, is evolving and going with the seasons, because we're not supposed to be the same. I'm not supposed to be the same person I was when I was in high school, and now I'm in my late 20s and I have bills and adult stuff going on. Like, I should not be having that same 17-year-old mentality. But the unfortunate part about it is that some people actually, you know, still do keep this mentality. Some people do still keep those same, you know, habits and become those same people. And it's no fault to their own. You know, I've realized a while ago that I was doing some of the same stuff over and over again, and it just takes the awareness that, you know, you need change and you have to change yourself if you want the change. But it's hard, and it's definitely easier said than done, because, you know, some people are just used to how you are. Some people are used to you liking the certain things, and it's hard for them to accept you. So then there comes the, you know, the backhanded compliments. Like, for example, if you're someone who wants to, you know, change your whole look, so you don't like how you look right now currently, and you figured out, okay, well, let me do this, let me try this and see if this makes me feel good, makes me feel better. Then all of a sudden you got like your best friend or your mom or somebody like, ooh, look at you, that's different. And not saying it in a way where it's, you know, uplifting, but saying like, oh my God, since when you start doing that? Oh, that's what you like now? Or, you know, let's say you want to embark on a whole new career. There are some people that want you to be what they believe you are. So, you know, we always hear about those parents that want their kids to either be doctors or lawyers, or just be what they feel like is best in their eyes for them. You know, we have those people that, you know, mean the best for us, and they definitely, and some people are definitely coming from good intentions. However, you know, what feels good to you? Doing what they want, or doing what you feel like deep down you really want to do? And so sometimes you have to change. Sometimes you have to learn new skills. Sometimes you have to be different, because if what you're doing now isn't working, what makes you think it's going to work ever? Like, that does not work, because that's the definition of insanity, you guys. Like, wanting something, doing something over and over again, but then expecting a different result. Like, we're not going to be able to achieve anything. And so we just have to learn that it's okay to change when you want better for yourself, or if you want something. Like, you have to want it. You have to have the desire to then become aware that this is what I need to do. So sometimes it means getting rid of old habits. Sometimes it means getting rid of those naysayers and those toxic people. Sometimes it's okay to even have to get up and move to a whole other state, block everybody, make no contact, and just completely change your whole self. Because, you know, we cannot grow if we're so used to being condemned to what other people want us to be. And I think that's why a lot of us are unhappy, because a lot of us are not doing what we really want. So let's just remember that this lesson right here is not only helpful to yourself, but, you know, it's helpful to let people know, like, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay that something that once worked doesn't. It's okay that something that you once liked, you don't like. And it's okay to change patterns that you noticed was not working for you. And it's okay to just up and decide, I want to be different. Don't let anybody discourage you, because it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard when you don't have anyone else around you that encourages you, or that can physically show you that it's okay. If you're always around people that bring you down, that don't want you to change, so they, you know, constantly bring up or try to test you to see if you really are going to follow through with what you're saying. Once you realize, like, you have people like that, it definitely hinders your progress. So sometimes you just generally have to, like, get away from these people, or get away from the environment. So don't be afraid to change, you guys, because, you know, change is good. Just remember that. Number four life lesson is that everybody has a story. You know how, like, you'll watch those shows, or for me, I like to watch anime. And so you always, at first, when you see the bad person or the villain, how they don't really give us the backstory at first. They just straight go in with, this is the villain, this is what they're doing. And all of a sudden, now they're just completely evil. But then you notice after a couple of episodes, they start giving you backstories on their life and what led up to that point, the events that caused them to have those beliefs. And the same thing happens with those type of beliefs. So then you start to feel a little bit more sorry for them. You start to see the humanity and kind of be a little bit more compassionate, and understanding that, you know, everything is not black and white. And same goes for real life. Like, there may be somebody who coming at you all mean, rude, negative. Anytime you do anything, they're really not a positive person. They're actually projecting their insecurities. So now you feel like, okay, well, obviously how you feel about me is something that I'm doing, or how you feel about me is something, the way you are just completely makes you a bad person, because what good person acts like that? But then I've gotten to realize, especially when I developed this sense of grace, to be able to not only heal myself and forgive myself on things that I've done, but to then go to therapy for one, but research about, like, different things. Because once I realized the root causes and the root problems to why I would do certain things, I realized, you know, I'm not so special when it comes to making mistakes. So I have a story. There are reasons why I did what I did after, realizing it and actually being able to think on these things. So the same goes for other people, just because this person may come off as rude and mean and don't want to be bothered and antisocial, that doesn't mean that that's just who they are. Maybe they've had things that happened to them in life that led up to that. Or maybe people have done things to them that now have altered their perception of reality. Like, just because somebody can be cruel and rude does not mean that they don't have a reason for it. I just want to say that this does not include, just evil people or just murderers, just rapists, like people who just kill with the intention of just wanting to kill, have no remorse. Psychopaths or sociopaths, we're not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who, for example, that movie The Joker, or just the character Joker, yes, he's definitely a psychopath. Like, he's definitely like enjoying what he does. But that movie that recently came out with his backstory, it showed a little bit more in depth as to how and why he is the way he is. Because sometimes there are legit reasons for why people are the way they are, and we just need to get to the root cause and understand them. So this is where, I guess, once you realize everybody has a story, your real compassion for others come in. Whether you like them, whether you don't, whether you rather love them from a distance, this is where you start to really realize, like, okay, you are the way you are because something must have happened in your life. You don't have to explain it, and I'm not going to take the time to want to figure it out. However, now that I've realized, because I have stories and I have reasons to why I did things, you do as well as a human being. So I've learned to just like, okay, something must have happened. That's why they are the way they are. What I now do is I control myself, because you cannot control others, and I make decisions for me. So if I realize you are who you are because something must have happened and led up to that, okay, I'm going to do what I have to do by distancing myself, because that doesn't mean that I should just let people run over me. And so this lesson right here just took a lot of reflecting on like different, I guess, scenarios or just different events that would happen that I noticed when I was younger. I was definitely a little bit like judgmental on. I like had a lack of compassion for certain things because I just felt like, it's black or white. It's either this or it's either that. And this is not a good way of thinking, because God has a way of humbling you. God has a way of saying, okay, you think you got it? You think you can do that? Well, here you go. Bam. I'm going to put it on the plate. Let's see how you eat it. So honestly, it takes going through shit and realizing that you need to mind your business and just be humble and realize that, everybody is going through something. Everybody has a story, and that story is what makes them who they are. And number 5 of the life lessons is that you need to really love yourself genuinely. I'm not talking about fake love. I'm not talking about only doing stuff for your outside appearance. Loving yourself genuinely could just truly be accepting who you are, your flaws and all, and realizing that who you were yesterday does not make you who you are today. And you have the power to change anything you want. And we have to learn that if we don't like something, we can change it, because you don't want to go around and be insecure. And that's something that I definitely feel like I still struggle with, due to the fact that, it's really hard when you've been dealing with a lot of people who have not taught you how to love yourself, have not taught you how to, truly be your number one fan. Or when you have adults as a child bully you for, you want to express yourself, or you just being who you are. So like, for example, because I grew up in my early childhood in like predominantly white areas, I was apparently told by like my family down south, once we got around them, that I talk and sound white, I act like I'm white, and I don't act like a black girl, because I like to listen to like Hilary Duff back in the day. If you know, her album was legit. But they would be like, why do you like that? Why are you all the way you are? And I feel like now I've gained the realization that it was these type of people, it was these type of adults, honestly, that really took a toll on my confidence, because they didn't allow me to love myself in all my quirkiness and to accept myself regardless of how it looks to other people. And adults really do make this bad like choice. I don't think a lot of them realize it, but you know, if you realize a child is different, why do you have to feel the need to like jokingly talk about it and constantly like make them feel bad? And I think a lot of adults that I dealt with, they enjoyed it because they knew that as a child you really don't have a lot of power to voice yourself, because then once you get mad, now it's being disrespectful. But a lot of that really like took a damper on my identity, because then I'm like, well, who am I if I'm not accepted by the black people, and I clearly know I'm not white? Like, who am I? What should I be? And so that just all ties to with, like I was saying with number one, that it's okay to be yourself, because it's crazy how even your family can make you feel like basically the ugly duckling in the family and the black sheep, all because they don't understand you. And so I learned this one through therapy too, that, you know, we have to realize that not everybody's going to understand us. And as long as you love and understand yourself, life will get so much easier. And so that brings me to number 6, which is time waits for no woman or man. And we don't have time to sit here and keep hating and shitting on ourselves. We don't have time to keep sitting here putting off things that we said we were going to do, or just be who we said we're going to be. Like, we don't have that much time here, you guys. And as you get older, you realize that, because when you're younger, you know, you get to thinking, oh, I got this, the world is my oyster, YOLO, you know. But then as you start to get older and there's more priorities, at least for some of us, and there's different things that, you know, you want out of life, you realize like, oh shit, I don't really have that much time. And you have to then start getting into that mode of, I gotta get it, which then sometimes, in my opinion, leads to people who have like those midlife crises, because they've realized for like a quarter of their life, or the mid part of their life, they have not done what they wanted to do, and they know that now that they don't have much time left after this. And time is really something truly valuable, you guys. Why do you think all of these businesses and like capitalism really like love to leverage people's time? Why do you think we're always trying to trade our time for money? Because we cannot get this time back. They know that. That's why they're leveraging it. That's why people who were pursuing financial freedom, they realize like at the end of the day, money is everything, but time is even more. And we don't have time to be wasting on people who don't love us, people who talk shit about us. We don't have time to do things that we don't want to do. Like, let's make this time be about things that we truly value. And for me, I was definitely bad, because I am a professional procrastinator. So I am definitely somebody who can let the time go away, and that can really let my day slip away and not realize like, oh my God, like I didn't do any of the things that I said I was going to do. So just know that time waits for no man, no woman. Whatever you want to do it. Start early. You know, I still am at that age where like I have time on my side. It definitely doesn't feel it with all of the, you know, social media and things that we are exposed to. But just remember that while you're like either like in your, you know, late teens, just graduated, or early 20s, don't be around those people that don't take their time seriously, that just sit around and smoke and drink all day, or just sit around and complain all day. Like, you can be doing so much better things with your time than to be doing these type of things. And so I want to make a video later all about what are, you know, the time wasters, and what are things that give you valuable time, or things that bring value to your time, or something like that. Like, I want to talk about that, because I am really big on that, and I've been improving on not procrastinating, showing up, and honestly just planning and organizing better. Number 7 would be that we need to let go of our past pain. Like, we need to understand that our past does not define our future. our past is our past. We cannot do anything about it. We cannot change it. We cannot go back and just like put reset. As much as I want to, we can't do it. Like, there's no reset button. The only thing it is the start and the end, and it's what you make in between. This one I always struggle with too, just because I will, like, especially like 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when all those thoughts want to come, or the shit that you did in the past, and you're like, oh, why did I do that? Like, those are the type of thoughts that I get, where I'm always reminiscing on the past. Then there goes those thoughts, those negative downward spiral thoughts of, I could have did this better, I should have did that. Like, girl, stop, I cannot do that. And so I would start overthinking myself into a freaking headache, and then completely making my mood just so bad and toxic, because I've completely brought up everything in the past that like was so bad or negative or traumatic. And that's not to say that we cannot learn from our past. Our past is really like information and data. We need to use that. We need to actually reflect on that, you guys, so that way you can get better for your future. Like, you have to sometimes look at your past as information, whether it's something you did or something that you didn't, in order to continue on improving. This is not serving me. This ain't working for me. So let me now change it. But it takes being aware of your past and using your past more as wisdom and understanding and knowledge of what you should be doing in order to improve. And then don't forget, there's going to be people that constantly bring it up too, because that's all they have to talk about. If you find that constantly talking about your past is triggering for you, then you need to let it go, because there's no way you're going to be able to heal if you're constantly bringing up what hurt you. And it takes a lot of practice and some exercises on how to be able to do this. And if you would like some, I could definitely drop them down in the description box, because I have a couple that I've gotten from my therapist on how to keep me from going down that spiral of thinking about my past and letting it be the reason of why I can't do anything. It sounds so like easy, but we don't really realize that we can do this until you've constantly made the effort every day to be something better. This little bit I do want to say before I go off to number 8 is that sometimes we could be so caught up on the emotion of our past that we really don't even realize what was the reason for it. Like, there are times where I can remember somebody can bring up a name, and just the feelings of whoever that was and whatever happened just comes back, and I will have a certain negative emotion attached to it. Half of the time, you guys, I'm like, I don't even know what happened. I done forgot. So that's an example of how you need to really let go of your past, and it's really important in order to heal and in order to become the person that you truly want to be throughout this life. So number 8 is that, and this is a big one, and it really sometimes I think takes becoming a parent to understand, and that's your parents are not perfect. Now, excluding the people who just ain't shit, the people who just straight neglecting, abusing their children, who are just straight up just not attempting to be good, we're not talking about those people. We're talking about parents that have done some messed up stuff, have made mistakes, and we're constantly as adults now telling them, making them feel even worse about themselves. And yes, we have to be able to come to a point where we talk to our parents about things if we can't seem to let it go, or if you feel like that this is something that truly affected you. You do need to go and at least talk to them, just to kind of let them know if they're a parent who is a good parent, in my opinion, because that's how you can make your relationship bond closer and deeper, because your parents make mistakes raising you. And I learned this with having my first one, and with me being a first child, I'm like, you know, that first flapjack, you know, you tend to throw it out because you fucked it up. So I always make that joke, but like seriously, once I had my first son, I didn't realize what was I doing. It was so many mistakes I made with him, and I still feel guilty about. But I feel like me becoming a parent and making those mistakes, I was able to really sit back and think like, and you didn't give your mama all this heat for what? And it's like, now I'm thinking like, Oh my God, I just made my mom feel so bad about so many things growing up, and to just realize how much strength your parent has to not like really take it personal or let you know that it hurts them. Like, I don't think we realize that you guys, that we can sometimes unintentionally hurt our parents too, because us constantly bringing up what they did can make it worse for them internally. They might not tell you, they might not ever tell you, but it may kill them. And therapy really helped me with that one too. And I always say therapy, but it's because I really started really doing therapy in my 20s. So it's like I've come to the realization when I became a parent that I'm probably finna get some heat with my kids on some mistakes that I'm going to be making and have made, that they're going to remember. And while I'm going to do my best to be the best parent I can for them, which means to grow them up and raise them up to be emotionally mature, good human beings that can become independent and also be aware of, you know, the world, the toxic stuff that comes with it. I understand that while that's what I am achieving and wanting, I'm going to be making some mistakes in the road because I'm human. And we have to realize, we have to look at our parents as people and as human, because our parents are not super people. Like, they're not superheroes. They're not going to be perfect. They're humans too. And a lot of them did the same mistakes we have done. And a lot of them, honestly, like my mom, were still kids when they had them. So it's like a lot of them grew up with their children. Now, if you have a parent that don't want to acknowledge the mistakes, like a true narcissist type of parent that has done things to make your life traumatic or made your childhood traumatic and has transpired into your adulthood, if you realize trying to talk to them and they're not wanting to not only accept it but acknowledge it, then that's where you really have to just kind of go to therapy, go to somebody that you trust, and really just get healing on that, because they're going to be people who just, at the end of the day, parents or not, do things that make them happy. At the end of the day, you'll be okay, but we have to realize that our parents aren't perfect. And the sooner you realize that, the better the relationship will be, not only for you as an adult, but for your parent to be able to let go of that feeling and let go of that guilt. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of them are guilty. Because think about it, they didn't have the resources we have. Like, we have the internet, we have so much we could do. We got technology that just has progressed so many different things. Like, I'm a 90s kid, so like, of course I had Nintendo and I grew up with it, but I've also remembered the times of not having none of that. So just imagine what they had to go through raising us and not having all of these quick resources. Better yet, just imagine the generational curses that their parents raised them up on. Like, we are literally all just trying to do our best. And I've realized with this, it made it be so much more peaceful to parent my children. And so just forgive your parents, you guys. You know, they are annoying, but they're doing the best they can. Like, you know, they raised us. And so now we just have to embrace the fact that they did the best they could. So number nine is that, you know, you can call me out or you can kind of have your feeling about it, but money is not the root of evil. Money, in fact, is like one of the catalysts and the sources to get you to what you really want in life. So a lot of times, especially in religion, that we were taught that money is the root of all evil. Money is the reason why things are happening. A lot of things are going on because everybody is greedy. While that is true, let's remember that at the end of the day, when you need that bill paid or when you're hungry, what do you need? Money. When you want to go and buy your baby something, or if you want to go and have a good time somewhere. Not saying you need money to have a good time, but let's just say you wanted to go and do something fun at an amusement park and make memories. That costs money, right? Let's imagine you have a health scare went on, and now you need to be able to pay for that. What do you need? Money. Like, growing up and realizing that, yes, money is important. And I've realized at a young age, like I'm talking 4th, 5th grade, that money is important, because it was at that age I started doing my hustling of like selling candy for a quarter or doing chores for my mom. Not necessarily like chores that I'm supposed to do, but just helping her out. Like, ironing her clothes for work. I would do that for like $1 or $2. Look, all I'm saying is that, like, growing up, I was taught that we need money to just basically survive, or like money is just for like bare necessities, a few little humble things, but anything other than that, above that, you're trying to do some evil shit. Like, money is not the root of evil. People and how they use it is the problem. If you're somebody who is a good person and want to do good and have some good impact on here before you leave, you're going to basically use that money to do what you really want to do. And if you're somebody who's evil and greedy and selfish, that money is just going to really enhance that type of behavior. So remember, like, money is not evil. Money does not have like emotions. Money is just a tool. Money is a catalyst that can enhance almost, I feel like, every aspect of your life. Like, you can eat better, choose better quality food, like organic, going to Whole Foods. Like, you can't buy that if you're struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. Like, at that point, you're on survival. And I also want to say, being around people at the last job, I was around a lot of people who were definitely wealthy. And even though, like, I'm just in their house and we're cleaning, I can kind of see just off of not only their life, but just being around them in that personal level, the ones who were wealthy, but honestly were still good people and use that money to enhance the good quality of their life and dreams and passions. Then there were people who I saw who had the money that were just selfish and greedy, and that's just who they are, and money just makes that really, really worse. Like, the clean was definitely better. Like, regardless of the type of money and the type of lifestyle that they live, the person and who they were was always the one that makes or breaks how we generally felt at the job. So I say that as to say, money is actually a good thing, and it's because of that, and because of this awareness and reading the books and breaking out of that mentality and breaking out of that mindset of money is evil, money should be scarce, there's not enough money to be able to do what I want and then some. Like, no, we're about to achieve financial freedom here at this channel. We're all about using money for us to help us be better. And at the end of the day, don't we all want to not only do things and help other people, but don't we also want to buy stuff? Like, what is the point in living at some point you don't be able to do what you want to do? And for me, money is something that will be able to buy me, like, one of the main things that I want, which is time freedom. Like, that is the biggest thing for me that I definitely want to do, because I want to be able to make my decisions on how I want to spend my 40 hours a week on my day. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to be able to still have structure, still have a routine, still have things going on, but I want that to be my choice. And money is the biggest thing that we use on this earth at the end of the day, that goes around and that enhances our life. And for the people that want you to keep feeling like that, all I got to say is just let them believe what they want to believe, let them live how they want to live, because money is a very touchy subject for a lot of people, and you don't want to break and hurt a lot of toes, because some people truly do not understand this mindset. And it's okay if they choose to live a life that they want to live with it because it's their life. It's that your thoughts and your mindset is most important. And we sometimes as a whole kind of overlook this, because when you're really going through something, who wants to hear that? I know I don't. So I tend to see that all of us are really drawn to more just bringing up the bad parts and not being that person and want to be like positive Patty all the time. But honestly, to heal, to really do anything, to want anything, the number one thing is you're going to have to really work at your mindset. Mindset is a big one. Mindset separates those who will do stuff in their life and be proactive versus the ones who are not, and who are just going to keep allowing life to just go with the flow. So honestly, in order to do anything, you just got to realize that you got to really change your mindset. Really, if it's going from a negative to a positive, or having limited beliefs, to truly embracing yourself, realizing that imposter syndrome is real. Honestly, your mindset and your thoughts are truly powerful, and it all starts there. When you want to attract anything, when you want to do anything in your life, it's all about mindset. If we don't take the time to, like, meditate, to truly journal, to truly understand everything that's going on in here, we are really not going to be healthy at the end of the day. And this lesson really takes a lot for me, just because it's something that you have to really be proactive with doing all the time, because it is so easy to let your thoughts and your mind and what goes in to truly mess you up, girl. Like, it really is hard. So just remember, anytime you need to bounce back, just remember that it's okay to have those thoughts, but just let them go and stick with the ones that make you feel good. If you know that, like, your thoughts are really, really worse than others, like, intrusive thoughts and thoughts of suicide, that's when you really need to seek help. That's when you really need to tell somebody, because, our thoughts, the prison in our mind is a thing that a lot of us don't really escape from. And we don't need to live our life in this prison. We need to be able to truly live a life of really great peace and just happiness. And you really need to start here with your happiness. So that's all I have for today, you guys. These were my 10 life lessons that I learned by the time I turned 28. I'm definitely going to be embracing this. I'm still holding on strong to my 20s, but honestly, I have definitely learned so much. So if you like these types of videos, please comment below and like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Go over to Instagram and just check me out. Also, comment down below anything that you want me to discuss or talk about. I like making these kind of videos. Comment anything that you resonated with in this video and anything that you have learned in your life. Let's continue on with the conversation. Until next time, you guys. See you later. Bye.